dear students. Today we are going to start a new chapter, chapter number 11, Light, Shadows and Reflection. Now what is light? Light is a form of energy which enables you to see things. Okay. Now for example, if there is no light in this room, will you be able to see me? Let us see. For a moment, just I'll turn off the light. Can you see me now? No. Now, when the light came, you are able to see me. So, what is actually light? Light is a form of energy which helps you to see things around you. Okay. Now, from where do you get light? We get light from different materials or different things. So, the things which gives you light are called the sources of light. Okay. So, there are so many sources of light around us. Now, how do you see things? How do you see things? See, the light rays are coming to me, and when they fall on me, I reflect those light rays, and then you are able to see the reflected rays. Okay. Because of the reflected rays, you are able to see me. Now, you know that light, in lower classes, you have learned that light travels in straight line. Now, I'll show you because of that. Now, if I take a paper and cover my face, see the light rays are coming straight to my face, so you are able to see me. But if I cover like this, if the light rays can come like this, bending, you will be able to see my face. But light rays cannot bend. So, you are not able to see the face when I keep it or when I block it with these papers. Okay. So, light always travels in a straight line, and it is because of the light rays which falls on any objects and reflects it, you are able to see those things. So, in a dark room, when you sit in a dark room, you cannot see anything. What is the reason? There is no light to reflect. Only when the light rays reflect, you will be able to see them. Now, I told you there are so many things which gives you light. Okay. So, the things which can produce their own light are called luminous objects. What are they called? Luminous objects. Now, what are the luminous objects around you? The first and the most important one is our sun. Sun has its own light. Okay, you have learned in lower class, sun is a burning ball of gases. So, it gives out its own light, and because of the light from the sun, we are able to survive. This we have already learned. Similarly, almost all the stars, they are also burning gases which can produce their own light. So, they are also luminous. Now, have you seen a small insect on during the dark nights? If you look outside, you can see sometimes very small insect will be moving from place to place, which we call glowworm. In Hindi, it is called jugnu. Okay, this glowworms, they can produce their own light. So, they are called luminous objects. Similarly, the tube light, which gives you light, is also a luminous object. If you keep a lighted candle somewhere, that is also a luminous object. If you switch on the torch, that is also a luminous object. So, all the things, all the objects which can give you light or which can produce their own light are called luminous objects. Now, its opposite. What are non-luminous objects? Opposite of luminous object. Luminous objects can produce their own light, and non-luminous objects are the objects which cannot produce their own light or which don't have their own light are called luminous objects. Now, in the starting we told so many objects are there, they can give you light. So, the objects which can give you light are called sources of light. Okay. Now, there are many sources of light. Just now we discussed the sun, star, the glowworm, the candles, the torch. Okay. All these things can give you light. Now, the sources of light can be divided into two groups depending upon how or who produces them. There are some of them which are naturally occurring, like the sun is a natural source of light. The stars are natural source of light. The glowworm is also natural source of light. But the tube light, the torch or the candle, the lighted candle, all these things are made by human beings. So they are called artificial source of light or artificial source of light, or because they are made by man, they are also called man-made source of light. We discussed about natural and man-made sources of light. Now, the amount of light energy that we receive depends upon the source from which we get. See, the amount of light that we get from the sun is different from the amount of light we get from the candle, right? So, depending upon the source of light, the amount also varies or it changes. Okay, now you might have seen sometimes when there is a marriage in your house or when there is Diwali, we light the whole building. Okay, now do the house or the temple or the buildings have their own light? No, we are lightening them with the help of some sources. Okay, so what are illuminated objects? Illuminated objects are objects which do not have their own light, but they are brightened with the help of luminous objects. For example, we use some CDs to decorate the houses. So when you decorate it, then it becomes very bright, and then we call them illuminated objects. So illuminated objects they do not have their own light. Do they have their own light? No, they don't have their own light. But why do they become bright? Because they reflect the light from the luminous objects with which we decorate them. Means if you keep even candles, okay, when Diwali and all will be there, we light our house with the help of so many small diyas. Okay, so they are also luminous objects. So with the help of small lamps or any such candles or anything that you use are luminous objects, and the non-luminous object, which is our house, becomes bright with the help of these luminous objects because they reflect the light from the luminous objects. Okay, now the things which are seen around us can be divided according to the ability of passing light through them. They can be divided according to the ability of passing light through them. Some objects will pass the light as it comes. It will be allowing them very freely to pass. Some of them will allow partly to pass. Partially we call. Okay. And some of them will not allow. Okay. So depending upon the nature or depending upon the ability to pass light through them, the objects around us can be divided into three parts, three groups. Which are the three groups? First one is transparent objects. Now what are transparent objects? Transparent objects are the objects which will allow the light to pass through it completely. Whatever light comes through it will be allowed to pass through it. Some glasses are like that. Okay, now the spectacles glasses. If you take this glass, whatever light is coming, it is allowing to pass through it. Okay, now when you are asked to draw map or any pictures, if you don't know, we use a paper, tracing paper we use. You won't be able to see the complete figure, but some clarity will be there. Why it is not seen completely and but partially it is seen? Because they are also called butter paper. Okay, on sweets and all they keep one paper. Okay, those papers will allow the light to pass through them partially. Partially means not completely. They don't block it completely. They don't allow it completely. Half of it in between. Some light will be allowed to pass through it and some will not be allowed. Okay, so such things are called translucent. What is the word? Translucent objects. transparent objects will allow the light to pass through them completely, and translucent objects will allow them to pass partially. Okay. Now there are some objects, like I told you, if I keep a book, for example, if I take a book, this book, can you see my face? No, because it blocks my face completely. It will block the light completely. Such objects, if you take a wooden piece and keep it here, will it allow the light to pass through it? No. Such things which will not allow the light to pass through them at all, or which will block the light completely, are called opaque objects. So we learned illuminated objects, then we learned transparent object, translucent object and opaque object. Illuminated objects are objects which don't have their own light but will become bright with the help of luminous objects. What are transparent objects? Transparent objects are objects which will allow the light to pass through them completely. Example, glass I told you. Now translucent objects are the objects which will allow the light partially to pass through them. And opaque objects will not allow the light to pass through them at all. Okay. Now please go through all these. Please read your textbook. Your notes will be given at the end of this video. That's all for today. Thank you.